Good evening, dear friends, colleagues, well-wishers, and patients. Welcome to Facebook Live. For those who don't know me, I'm Dr. Rudolf Vaz, consultant and laparoscopic surgeon based in Victor Hospital, working for the last 5 years here and in surgical practice for the last 10 years. An alumnus of the prestigious St. John's Medical College and did my advanced laparoscopy training from Germany. Today, as we have come over here together, we would like to discuss this topic which is very close to my heart, that is laparoscopy. I have decided to break down this topic into 5 smaller subtopics. As one, what is laparoscopy? What are the benefits of laparoscopy, advantages and disadvantages? Who needs laparoscopy? And what are the common surgical procedures? What are the safety measures in laparoscopy? And what is new in laparoscopy? So coming to what is laparoscopy? Laparoscopy is basically a keyhole surgery through a small keyhole. Usually through this instrument, we enter into your abdomen through the sharp tip, and an instrument or a camera enters into the abdomen and we visualize the organs. There can be a diagnostic laparoscopy as well as therapeutic laparoscopy. A diagnostic laparoscopy means examples of which are, for example, if there is some free fluid in the abdomen and we need to identify what is the cause of the free fluid, or we do not know what is the disease, we take out that fluid through laparoscopy or take out tissue and send it for biopsy. That would be one example of a diagnostic laparoscopy. Therapeutic laparoscopy means removal of a diseased organ or a part or stones or anything that would result in the treatment, or it may be a combination of both. So a certain procedure like an appendix removal or a gallbladder removal would be a therapeutic laparoscopy. Laparoscopy has been a boon for the patients because it is a minimally invasive surgery and the recovery and everything is much faster. So what are the types of patients that would benefit from laparoscopy? Usually patients come with symptoms of abdominal pain, distension. We do a diagnosis based on an ultrasound or clinical findings as an appendix or infected gallbladder or intestinal obstruction based on the clinical features. Once a diagnosis is made, the treatment is started. So instead of big, large incisions, we operate through small keyhole incisions. Take for example a ruptured appendix. When you have a ruptured appendix, it would have free fluid and infection around the appendix, down into the pelvis, and the infection could go right up above the liver and between the diaphragm, the so-called subdiaphragmatic space. So if you have to assess all these regions, you require a huge incision of at least 8 inches. So this is avoided with through a keyhole where we get access not only to the appendix for the removal of the appendix, also to the pelvis, which is a narrow inlet, as well as above the liver in the subdiaphragmatic space. So we do have a great advantage as in we can clear all the infection as well as ensure that the patient recovers faster with minimal pain, with minimal problems. As for who deserves a laparoscopy, I have operated from ages 4 to up to ages 93, and all the patients have done well. A 4-year-old had come with a ruptured appendix, or some do come in because of hemolytic anemia. They do get gallstones and they require surgery. Now, a 93-year-old with infection in the abdomen or an obstructed hernia, and they would merit laparoscopy. So what are the advantages of laparoscopy? Basic advantages are less trauma, less scarring, minimal blood loss, less post-op pain, less hospitalization, cost-benefit ratio is much higher and the risks are lower. and patients have low incidence of hospital-acquired infections, low incidence of lower respiratory tract infections. For the surgeon, it is better vision, more precision, and ability to cause less harm to the patient. For example, we do use certain instruments like this is called the harmonic, which ensures the heat and coagulation goes only to that particular organ intended to cauterize or to cut without any lateral spread. So there is faster recovery for the patient. So what are the safety measures in laparoscopy? Every operation requires certain preparation and requires certain amount of safety and preparation for the surgery. So we do start by doing routine investigations, a pre-operative workup. We do a physical assessment of the patient, including blood tests. We get a physician fitness, a cardiac evaluation, pulmonary or lung function tests, and an anesthetic checkup. These are all for the safety of the patient pre-op. During the surgery, we have in the immediate pre-op period, we do proper safety protocol, counter check of all the sterilization methods, of all the instruments, and then go ahead with the surgery. During the surgery, we ensure that we identify the anatomy properly. We make sure that everything is very clear. We make sure that the tissues are handled with a lot of care, and we ensure that there is no damage to any organ. The anesthetist takes utmost care to make sure that the patient goes to sleep in a very comfortable and peaceful way, and does not have any side effects of the drugs, and the anesthesia, respiration, blood pressure is all optimally managed. So altogether, it is a team that works together for a successful completion of a laparoscopic surgery. In the post-op period, we ensure the breathing, post-op care, urine output, pulse, and all the vitals of the patient are optimally managed. We do have good ancillary support services in the form of ICU, in the form of good physicians, in the form of optimal post-op care to ensure smooth recovery and waking of the patient. So what is new in laparoscopy? Every field develops and is dynamic in changing and developing itself, and so is laparoscopy. From very basic instruments and a small TV monitor, nowadays we have high-grade medical monitors to get precision during the surgery, to identify everything. We have intra-op tests or dye studies which we can do. So all those have resulted in us doing much more advanced procedures. Take for example, the earlier we used to use this instrument, the hook, which had a lot of thermal injury and spread and caused inadvertent damage to other organs. And now with the onset of newer technology, the harmonic, which uses the piezoelectric effect, that is ultrasonic waves at a very high frequency of nearly 50,000, the lateral spread, the tissue damage is far less. We do have vessel sealers, so as a result of this, the blood, there is very minimal blood supply. In fact, I hardly require any blood transfusions of blood to be kept as standby for patients. So all these patients recover with much less infections, complications of blood transfusion, etc. The other thing is we ensure that we have optimized our protocols as we realize that any surgery, the quick recovery, the speedy recovery depends on the operative time and the optimal intraoperative management of fluids and anesthesia, everything. So we have optimized protocols for each surgery, for the anesthesia and for the post-op care to ensure that the patient's experience in the OT and outside is very smooth. We have, by doing these protocols, we have ensured that our operative times are comparatively very low. So the exposure of the patient to anesthesia also is very low. So in this way, we have ensured that the patients recover fast. The other thing is we have certain patients, selected patients, we have even some patients have fear of the hospitals, of staying in the hospitals. We have even introduced daycare services wherein the patient can come, walk in the morning, get the surgery done, and go home by late evening if everything is all right. Another important trend that is catching up is the metabolic or bariatric surgery, wherein it is realized that insulin resistance or weight gain is related to the so-called metabolic syndrome, and all these, they cause a lot of health problems. And a lot of studies have shown that this metabolic surgery or bariatric surgery causes weight loss in patients and can completely reverse certain complications, including diabetes. So these are the few trends that are trending now. Over and above, it is realized that laparoscopy is a boon to the patients because of early recovery, less hospital stay, and faster healing. So this is a trend that is catching up, and I'm sure that nowadays more and more people opt for laparoscopy because of early recovery and quicker healing times. Last, I would like to also mention that for the surgeon, it is a very much more comfortable procedure because there is no strain, there is no pulling and pushing, and the vision is very good. So it is much more comfortable, but it requires a lot of training and coordination of of everything to function as a team. I hope in this short time I have covered most of the basic things of laparoscopy. Do feel free to ask me any questions in your comments, and I will be very happy to answer them. I've got a question from Ms. Roana de Costa. What is the normal recovery time after laparoscopic surgery? It depends on the procedure. For example, a laparoscopic cholecystectomy, the patient is awake immediately after the surgery. Patient is able to take liquids on the same day of the surgery, and most of the patients are discharged out of the hospital after a day. And the general recovery, you don't require specific bed rest or so, but avoid rigorous activities, and that would be for around a week to 10 days. I've got a question from Neelam who asks, do the scars heal totally after laparoscopy? The scars in laparoscopy are basically 1 inch or less than 1 inch, maybe around 1.5 centimeters to 2.5 centimeters. So you would be having roughly around 3 scars at an average on your abdomen. Those scars, most of them are hidden in areas like inside the umbilicus or at the around the bikini line, so you cannot even make out the scars, and the scars heal very well. Mr. Bhimsen has asked, is the anesthesia same for laparoscopic surgery? It's a very good question. Generally, for all laparoscopic surgeries, we prefer general anesthesia. Of course, there are certain patients with which we can do laparoscopy with epidural anesthesia, but general anesthesia is preferred for all the patients. So one of the contraindications for laparoscopic surgery would be if a patient is very high risk for general anesthesia. Ms. Hortensia has asked, what is bariatric surgery? I've just touched upon that briefly. Bariatric surgery is a weight loss procedure, and there are 2 or 3 different types of procedure where we do one procedure would be reducing the size of the stomach, that is called a sleeve gastrectomy. That would be a part of the sleeve, as well as you bypass a certain part of actively absorbing fat from the intestine. You bypass that part of the intestine, so that promotes weight loss. So these are very few surgeons who are trained in these procedures, and we do it quite frequently. And this procedure not only helps in reducing weight but also decreases the comorbidities and increases lifespan. Another question from Mr. Pankaj Gurav. How do I know I have appendicitis problem? The general symptoms of appendicitis would start as a vague periumbilical pain, which then shifts to your right side lower abdomen, and it is usually associated with vomiting or can be associated with fever, lack of appetite. And there are certain times where you can have loose motion, especially depending on the position of the appendix. Mr. Vinayak is asking, what are the benefits of laparoscopic surgeries? I have just touched upon a few benefits, that early recovery, less trauma, minimal blood loss, less hospital stay, less infections, quicker recovery, and one more important thing is very low incidence of reoperations compared to open surgeries. Another thing, open surgeries do cause a lot of adhesions, and at least 20% of patients who I operate for laparoscopic surgeries are due to previous open surgeries that have undergone adhesions. And adhesions is one thing that is very difficult to diagnose. Even a routine test and even a CT scan does not pick it up. So it is made on basis of a clinical diagnosis and symptoms, and adhesiolysis or release of the intestines and freeing of the intestines would have to be done, and those benefit the patients. And these adhesions are very much less in laparoscopy. How do I know I have hernia problem? Hernia is a defect in the abdominal wall, or it can be an internal hernia through which the contents of the abdomen come out. So you would usually, if there is a hernia, you would have a swelling around that region, you would have pain, and you would have some sort of fullness, especially post your meals. So it increases on increased intra-abdominal pressure. So when you cough, when you strain, you would get a bulge or an increase in abdominal pressure. I will just show you a slide of hernia. This is an internal hernia. You can see the round ring around which the stomach has herniated inside and gone into the chest. This is a picture of a distended gallbladder, thickened distended gallbladder, an inflamed gallbladder which has got infected, and the patient presented with abdominal pain. Somebody had just asked about appendix. This is how the appendix looks like when it is swollen up. You can see the appendix is all inflamed, thickened and red and angry looking along the surrounding intestine. This is our operation or OT setup. This is how it looks on the abdomen. These are the instruments, how through the keyhole we put in, this is called a trocar. We enter the trocar, and through that our instrument goes inside. And we operate by looking on a screen. What are the risks of laparoscopic surgery? Laparoscopic surgery has a few risks, but with the standardization of the procedure and with optimal care, all these risks have come down. The main risks in laparoscopy are related to the pneumoperitoneum. We inflate carbon dioxide so that inside the abdomen so that we can visualize the organs well. So that carbon dioxide can cause a little bit of pressure on the diaphragm and respiratory. One of the risks are when you enter the abdomen with the trocar, since it's a sharp all this and all. But with optimal care and optimization of the technique, those are hardly seen. We have hardly had any complications in our practice because we take optimal care, and with our expertise and training, the recovery and complications are very few. Yannick Montero has just said, what are the contraindications? Just as I just explained, the few contraindications are absolute contraindications are risk or contraindications for general anesthesia. Apart from that, people with poor lung function or poor cardiac function are risks for laparoscopic surgery. Ms. Priya is asked, can all surgeries be done with laparoscopic through laparoscopy? Well, most of the surgeries can be done through laparoscopy. Even traditionally, surgeries which were advocated to be open surgeries are now done by laparoscopy, especially in the field of colon cancer. There has been a great advantage for patients in laparoscopic surgery because the patients have minimal blood loss. We assess a very difficult area through laparoscopy. Vision is magnified, so the nerves are less damaged, and we are most of the times able to join back the intestine to restore the intestinal continuity. So that does not happen in open surgery, where usually we end up diverting the feces into a bag for temporary or a permanent purpose. So most of the surgeries can be done laparoscopically. However, one disadvantage of laparoscopy is that you do not get the tactile feel of the organs. And in certain conditions, where especially if you want to find out whether there are lymph node masses or certain things where you need the feel of the organs, especially if there is spread of the tumor, then an open surgery would be preferred. Thank you, dear friends, for joining me. I hope you all had an informative and interactive session. Thank you.